My name is Clarence Gardiner from ECA. I've been here 17, going on 18 years. I came in here as a full-fledged journeyman mechanic to start with. ECA, Equipment Corporation of America, and I have the U.S. patent for this design, and that's pretty amazing for me. I would say there's two major issues. Number one, so much safer. The rigging doesn't get damaged. With using these casing locks, the time that it takes to pick up and set down casing, load trucks, unload trucks, stack casing horizontally is so much faster than using other rigging and the old style existing rigging. I had a pretty good idea exactly how it had to work. But you talk about pencil and paper or pen and paper or whatever, absolutely not. I was right out here, right where I'm standing now pretty much. I had a piece of soapstone in my pocket and I drew it out on top of the casing. And I had a well-known rigging salesman working with me. And he and I drew it out on casing and the diameters, the sizes, the preliminary bends. And basically he took a picture of that on top of the casing and then took it back to the drawing board. And that's how we came up with where we started. And then the last two times we tried, they were just basically minor tweaks, like where the toe had to be cut off on the end. That was not, I did not think of that idea, but I was having too much trouble with the threads getting damaged. And that's how we saw if we release the pressure on that, make it up further, that would work. And we actually had to climb through the inside of the casing if they were all jammed together in a cargo box. And the time it took to hook up one piece of casing was phenomenal. And it took us like 4 hours to unload one cargo box. It was just crazy. And we was running a lot of rigging, a lot of nylons, a lot of cables, a lot of chains, a lot of chain hooks. Everything was just getting destroyed. So I just thought about the outside and how we could hook up something to the outside. And that's where the need for the project came up. It took me 3 tries before I had the proper bends and the way to heel and all that worked. But we had good success about 1.5 years at the time with a manufacturing company to make that. And then we've been testing them before we even opened it up to anybody. We tested them for over almost 2 years, 1.5 years to 2 years exclusively. The big problem that we really wanted to make sure was when we put the casing lock into the hole, that we did not destroy the threads, because that would have been just a downside to everything. That was the biggest challenge of how we had to get things to hook up correctly. So far, we've gotten that straightened out, and we have not, that I know of, in I don't know how many years now, we have not had to replace one conical ring.
We probably save a ton of time between having to pull chains out, climb through it, pull through. It's simple. You don't have to get inside. You can just, right from the outside, just lock it in. That's good to go.
The one thing that, when doing all the testing, when we first started out in preliminary parts and all that kind of stuff, I knew I had a success because the yard guys, they would grab the casing locks right off the bat. They would not go for the old style, or the way we were rigging it up and all that kind of stuff. And with the way we have it designed now, with your hands are away from where the shoe would come in or the pelican hook would come into the edge of the casing, your hands are completely away from that, so the hand injuries have not existed. Just so much safer.
Well, I've noticed in my personal experience, I think one of my favorite features of it is the handle that's on it. So when you're lowering the casing down, you can grab onto the handle and you get your hands out of any pinch points or anything as you're setting it down.
So each one of these casing locks takes 2 casing locks to make a pair. They're rated at 3 tons a piece, 6,000 pounds, that's US pounds. And they're stamped on there. The critical parts are these bends, these flat spots in the toe, for to be able to access this hole without doing damage to these threads in here. These threads can't get damaged where we'd be in big trouble if we did. So what happens is when you drop it in, it has to be 90 degrees to the casing, it drops in, and then it turns around, and then when it comes up, with the load, you can see that when the chain goes out this way, the chain goes up, it pulls on the toe underneath. So another feature with this casing lock design that we had big issues with the guys in the yard losing so much time was changing rigging from casing, loading and unloading casing, to switching rigging to load core barrels, tooling, augers, all that different types of different equipment. And what the casing locks allowed us to do was, instead of swinging out and going back to the rigging box or going all over places, we put this is a 20-foot chain spreader on here with these safety latch locks that work very easily. We can drop our casing lock very quickly, and now we can run these hooks and use that stuff for core barrels. We can use it for augers. We can use it for anything we need to that we don't have the pick and eyes and that kind of stuff to work with. So that's a huge time savings right there.